This is the Hidden Leaf Village's handsome devil, Rock Lee, and you're watching Anime Egotists. After this, you can do 51 sit-ups or watch all 51 episodes of Rock Lee and his ninja pals. Rock Lee. Leaf Hurricane!
And welcome back to the Anime Egotists, where they would never make robots out of us like Mecha Naruto.
I don't know, I've tried, but they keep failing. They keep blowing themselves up.
Somehow that doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me in the slightest. Anyways, my name's Alex, and I think my favorite one of Naruto's nature releases actually might be water.
I'm still partial to fire. I like the fire jutsus. And I'm Richard.
Yeah, you like burning stuff, Richard. But we are back, and once again, we just want to say a big thank you to SB Juju for joining us for the last video. Please check it out, support him if you haven't, but go back and watch that video, please.
Yeah, I like him. He's a Totodile fan.
Yeah, I tried not to hold that against him, but seriously, thanks again to SB for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. And we want to talk about another show we loved, Naruto. Now, a lot of you noticed that Sasuke got his own little special in the Boruto series. Do you know much about this show, Richard?
From my understanding, it's another light novel, so it's probably going to get some sort of adaptation about in the Boruto series or on its own eventually, but it's its own little thing off on the side, pretty much.
Yeah, and it talks about Sasuke, him when he's older, and him marrying Sakura. Look, whether you love Sasuke or whether you hate him, we all acknowledge he's important to the story. But as I've said a million times before, instead of giving love and side series to characters we've already seen just about everything for, I like the idea of giving scraps to characters who just didn't get what they deserved.
Exactly. There are so many characters in Naruto that we're told about their feats. We might get a single flashback in the anime or something, but it's never a big developed story because it wasn't necessarily going to tell the full story of Naruto, or I guess Boruto now. So those are the characters I think we wanted to focus on, the ones that we learn what they're about and who they are and all that, and get their story.
That's right. I don't want another Ghostbusters necessarily, but if they said, let's get another Treasure Planet, I'd be a lot more interested. That's kind of what this is. No, not Naruto characters we want on Treasure Planet. Although that would be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting story, but maybe for another video.
Yeah, we'll save that for another time. But these are the Naruto characters who we would want to get their own light novel, OVA, anime, whatever. Mm-hmm. The last time we did a Naruto video, I feel like I started us off. So do you want to start off this one?
Sure, I'll go first. So I'm going to start with one of the ones that I think is the most obvious, and I would love to get the full details of their story. Sakumo Hatake, Kakashi's dad.
Okay.
He is considered to be one of the strongest ninjas in the Hidden Leaf's history. I mean, they always talk about it, and they talk about his disgrace because he decided to forego his mission and save his team, which caused them to lose a major battle. So I'd love a story that tells him having that mindset, and you could have Kid Kakashi and they're kind of not having the same ideals, I guess, where young Kakashi believes that you have to complete the mission and all that. And Sakumo trying to impart that the whole idea of saving your friends or your allies over completing the mission, but then also dealing with the repercussions of that. And this wouldn't have a happy ending because it will end with his suicide. Yeah. But I think that would be an interesting story to tell.
Yeah, I agree, especially considering even if you could argue in some cases Kakashi might have some hatred for his father after everything. I mean, he kind of left him alone in some cases. At the same time, though, he kind of turned into his dad, just in the case of he would rather fail a mission while still protecting his friends, especially with everything going with Obito and Sasuke, etc., etc.
Exactly. And I just think that this would be a really interesting character to get that story, to know what this mission actually was, because we all we hear is it was a mission to get intel and something goes wrong and his team's going to be killed, so he foregoes getting the uh, intel and saves his team. It just, again, he is considered one of the strongest ninjas in the history of the Leaf, so it'd be interesting to see how someone that powerful actually goes about doing all this.
Yeah. Heck, I'd even like it, and this would be more of a how like I mean, there's time traveling in Boruto, so it's not exactly insane, but maybe just an idea of I don't know, maybe just an idea of somehow Kakashi ends up seeing him, and his dad's like, "You've grown up, and I'm proud of you." Maybe they fight together, maybe they fight against each other, something like that. But that would be more in the realm of just like, oh, well, let's just go crazy.
It'd be kind of cool if it was like Kakashi and Boruto do go back in time, and like right before they leave, Boruto finally catches up with Kakashi and they're supposed to go back to the future, and he goes, "All right, come on, Lord Sixth," and his dad's like, "What?" That's how he finds out his son becomes the sixth Hokage.
And heck, as they basically vanish, maybe he has a smile on his face. It would kind of make things weird after that. Like he's proud of his son, so he still decides to take his own life. But like, we're spitballing at this point.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's a lot with this character. Unfortunately, as I said, I think it still has to end tragically with his suicide to continue to make the story flow as it does.
Yeah, but I can co-sign Kakashi's dad. He seemed interesting.
Yeah. All right, your first one.
All right, I've talked about this one character before, but it's not just him. I kind of want the whole story and background of everything. The Sound Trio, and by that extension, the Sound Village.
You mean the Sound Four, right? Because there's four of them.
No, 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 no. I talk about Dosu and his squad, but there's also the Sound Village itself. It's like, you know what I mean.
Okay, so you're talking about the Team Dosu. I was thinking you were talking about the Sound Four.
No.
That okay.
I mean Team Dosu, but I also kind of mean just the village, because there is technically a village hidden in the Sound that Orochimaru basically destroyed. Okay,
Okay.
okay, so I've talked about Dosu before. He did not last long, and I felt like he should have. But in all honesty, I kind of would have wanted to see just these three, Dosu, Zaku, and Kin, just interacting with each other and seeing how did they get these powers, why they decide to stick together. Sure, at first it seemed like they were just sticking together because that's what the job entailed, but maybe we could have gotten a little more into, are they actually becoming friends despite being the bad guy? He's like, how did they, because as I've said before, when it comes to sound jutsu, nobody seems to give me a good answer. Is it a Kekkei Genkai? Is it a nature relief? Nobody seems to know. Not to mention just with the village itself, I'd like to think that maybe we could get some different characters out of it. Like we could see who were some prosperous people in the village before Orochimaru took over. Are they all dead? Did they escape? What just basically what the deal is with them.
I tend to agree. This would be an interesting one because, from our understanding, the Sound Village was created from people who ran away from their own villages for various reasons, whether it's they were not accepted because of their clan or other things. I, I'm going to change mine up a little bit because I had the Sound Four getting their background, and I could kind of see it the founding of the Sound Village with through them.
Yeah. But also, I guess the thing for me is because apparently nowadays in Boruto, it's a prosperous village, and like Orochimaru's like actually trying to make things better. So I don't really feel like we get that much of it, especially since we're all supposed to believe that Orochimaru is a good guy now. But even though I still don't trust him.
I don't either. He's just got too much history there of always wanting to take over and become that much more powerful, and just you never know with him if they're going to be what's going to happen next is kind of the issue.
Yeah, but that's basically there's not a lot we learn about them, so there's not a whole lot to talk about. But that's kind of the reason they're on my list because I'm like there's some cool concepts to with this, especially with the changing philosophies of this is a horrible place to live, and now like people are actually like growing and like actually enjoying their lives here.
I could see it. I think it would be an interesting one. The issue would be that I guess you could start. Actually, I guess a really good one would be for the Sound Village would be its entire history. So kind of how we've learned the history of the Leaf is always from the founding with the Senju and the Uchiha to I guess up to modern time with Boruto being the main protagonist, I guess, of a series. So you kind of tell their stories to have it be, I guess, start with, I guess, Orochimaru taking over. Maybe then the Sound Four is show up, then the Sound Three, as you called them, or Team Dosu, and then we go from there because we haven't heard from them since the original series, if you think about it.
Yeah, they're basically just dead, and that's kind of it.
So I could see that. I think that would be an interesting story to tell.
Yeah, but the sound village and the sound trio, and I guess technically by that extent the sound four.
All right. So my next one.
Go for it.
So we've kind of had some of his backstory told, but I'd love more from Jiraiya. Specifically, like
Yep.
more of like telling his story of between I guess the death of Minato and where he shows up in Naruto. Because from my understanding, he leaves after shortly after Orochimaru to kind of keep an eye on him and do research for his novel. I don't that doesn't need to be the main focus, but I would love to see Jiraiya as the sage walking in his travels and getting more of that. I think that would be an interesting thing for to cover.
Heck, I almost kind of felt like, in a way, his friendship with Orochimaru and Tsunade kind of felt underplayed at times. Like, they keep saying all this stuff like, oh, Orochimaru was super twisted as a kid. But when the few flashbacks we've seen, Orochimaru seems kind of odd, but he doesn't seem inherently twisted. So maybe just from Jiraiya's perspective, what the heck happened to really set Orochimaru off? Because Jiraiya and Tsunade were always butting heads, and Orochimaru always just seemed like, I'm not going to get involved, but like maybe Jiraiya can do it. I don't know. Seemed like Orochimaru was actually kind of supportive of him at times.
Yeah, I mean the only time that you really see, I guess, kind of Orochimaru being dark would be the I think it's Kirika. I can't say it. When he goes to the village in the rain and they survive the attack and then find the orphans, which Nagato, uh, the other two,
Yeah.
and he's like, well, let's just kill him.
To be fair, he might have been right about that.
True, but it's like his only dark moment until you realize that he's doing all these dark research for Danzo, like I guess a month or two later.
Yeah, but basically, like, so sort of tie it back to Jiraiya, I do think in the sense of just him developing his stuff, because it felt like very early on he kind of felt like Naruto in the case of he was the screw up, he was the slacker, he wasn't taking this seriously, and you see him several years later, and people do not mess with him.
Exactly. And the fact that yeah, there's just that he's had some light novels, but they're not focused that much on Jiraiya. They're more focused on other like his novels, I find from my understanding, and like him formulating them.
Oh, goody, that's what I want to see.
So it's like I want to see more of Jiraiya being the badass Jiraiya we got, unfortunately, right before his death, where it's like, oh, this is awesome. And
We don't have to talk about that part, but okay.
I know, but just getting more of that, I think, would be awesome for Jiraiya.
Yeah, we kind of talked about it before, but yeah, I completely co-sign because he's one of those characters who I just feel like more, but he died more, but more.
But we gave you a clone in Boruto. That's not what I asked for.
I don't know if anybody asked for that, but if it works, it will. It didn't work.
I haven't watched that part, so I don't know. So
I haven't seen it either. I'm just saying it's not what I want, so it doesn't work. I'm that
exactly,
petty.
I want Jiraiya. That's what I want.
But yeah, I can co-sign Jiraiya for sure.
All right. So your next one?
Mirai Sarutobi.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was about to say, do you know who I'm talking about? That was a bit of a pause.
Yeah, Asuma and Kurenai's daughter.
Yeah, you know, for all the talk of Asuma being, oh, the king this, the king that, before he croaked, we really don't learn about this girl that much, and she kind of has a cool design. She has a cool design. She has Asuma's weapons and everything, and she could learn a lot of his techniques. Not to mention Kurenai's genjutsu, which was pretty underrated when you start to think about it. And what do we get with her? Nothing. Like really nothing. We get like a couple scenes every now and then, but I could not tell you anything about her. I said her name and I thought to myself, "Oh, she had a name. Oh, could have fooled me."
I I know she gets like a small arc in Boruto where it's her going off with Kakashi and Might Guy to the hot springs, and she fights oh god, Hidan's nephew, cousin, something, someone else who worships Joshin.
I was about to say I I'm struggling to think of Hidan as a family man, but maybe you're right.
Hey, he's a man of religion, so
Not touching that. But like, you understand what I mean though. Like she really just did for all look, I understand in some cases it's not necessarily her that was meant to be important. It's more of the next generation. But
Mhm.
she's still young. Like she has to be talented to some extent. She's a Sarutobi. Their jutsu are like really cool and interesting, and we just don't get that much out of her. It's weird.
Yeah, I would almost like to see her and Konohamaru being, I guess they're cousins, um,
Yes.
being interacting together and kind of be trying to become the next generation of the great Sarutobis. Because I mean, you had the third Hokage and Asuma, who were kind of the best of their each generation from their family, and then we haven't seen anything from them that much by comparison, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay, just a little side tangent. Did they say Asuma was a Sarutobi like the second he showed up, or did that take until Shippuden for them to finally say it?
I think his they had I think they gave his name in probably a data book or something, but they didn't make a big deal of it until Shippuden. I know that for a fact.
And right before he died, too.
Yeah, it's like, oh, by the way, he's going out. He's Asuma Saratobi. Like here's in Saratobi. The third Hokage.
Oh, what?
He's his son.
Now he's dead. Oh, that's upsetting. But yeah, I don't know. I think I just it's not necessarily even for story reasons. It's just because like she'd be great with taijutsu thanks to Asuma, and admittedly from the Sarutobi clan, her ninjutsu and stuff, and the genjutsu would be incredible. I just feel like if they developed her, would she be the most interesting from a character perspective? Not necessarily, but she would be an amazing fighter.
And I would love to find out because she has the flak jacket. So she's either a Chunin or a Jonin. I don't know if they've ever said,
I
but
think
I'd
it's
love
just
it.
tuning, but
I
I don't
know, but
know.
I'd love it to be revealed that she's the kind of this generation's prodigy. So she graduated early from the academy, and she's actually a Jonin and a relatively young one at that. And I think that would be an interesting uh, development. Is kind of like look at how powerful their clan is still, despite the fact that they've lost kind of the two people who should have been their leader.
Exactly. Especially since Konohamaru, in some aspects, seems to be relatively well showcased for the most part.
Yeah, I debated putting him on my list of getting like his development throughout the years after uh the end of Shippuden, where he's the camera guy for uh Naruto and Hinata's wedding, and
Oh
to the
man.
point where he's now captain of Team Seven.
I might be interested. I'm more interested in the Team Seven stuff, not the wedding, not so much.
All right, but yeah, I'll co-sign on to. You said her name is Mirai.
I believe so. Yes.
Okay, I'm trying to. as I said, I vaguely remember her getting a few things in Boruto.
Exactly why she's on this list.
All right. Well, I y'all know how much I like Asuma, so I put him on my list. But I is he on your list as well?
No, I didn't want. I want us to talk. No, go ahead. Just go. It's fine. It's fine. Go.
Well, I was put him on my list because I'd be really interested in getting more of the 12 Guardian Ninja and his time, like tell his story from because they talk about how he had an argument with his father before he left the village and became one of the 12 Guardian Ninja. And that could be the whole story is him, the fallout with him and his father, him leaving, being part of the 12 Guardian Ninja, and then eventually his return to the village and becoming one of the Jonin for his generation and all that.
I'm noticing a lot of the characters on your list so far have already died.
Yeah, and I think that continues.
Oh, goodness gracious. I'm just looking up out of curiosity who the other members are, and yeah, wow, they're not very prominent.
There was like a single side arc with I know a character that has some Nine Tails chakra involved with like another member of the 12 Guardian Ninja.
Oh
Yeah,
goodness.
at this point, everybody has Nine Tails chakra in them. It's just whether or not that they have control over it or not, I guess.
They just pass it out like cotton candy at football games.
Heck, there's probably enough out there in the world that if they gave it to Naruto, he could reconstruct Kurama in himself.
Nobody's tried that, and now I'm upset.
Hey, I just came up with a way that they could bring him back eventually. It's just like, oh, well, Naruto, you're struggling. Okay, well, I'm going around. I'm going to collect all of his chakra and rebuild him.
And I'm just gonna start high fiving people because that's basically what Naruto does. He's just like,
I'm taking this back. Click.
no, but Asuma, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it in the sense. I mean, here's the thing. I struggle with characters who are already dead in some aspects because it's like, oh, we're getting more of them, but we already kind of know how this ends. But if it's written well enough, then I'd be cool with it.
As I said, I'm a lot of my focus was the stories that we don't I feel don't get enough of their story in Naruto. It's not that they're necessarily they may end in Boruto, Naruto, or Naruto Shippuden, but there's some part that it's like, wow, there's they keep talking about how good this person was or how strong this person was, and all we get is their defeat, or all we get is their little just this little tiny bit of their story.
Yeah, but I can understand that, Flossie. I can co-sign to Asuma.
All right. So your next one?
The Anbu Black Ops.
Okay.
God, these guys. Said it before. These guys were so lame when you really start to look at their accomplishments or lack thereof. In all honesty, I just think you don't even have to necessarily focus on a specific character. I think you could honestly just create a new type of character who's in the group. And I don't know how big on the Kingdom Hearts games you were that you're on.
Not terribly. I know the story is very complicated involving the different generations of the Keyblade holders and all that, but that's about it.
Yeah, but there's this organization that are basically bad guys, but they're also kind of not. I'm not going to get into it, but they were kind of the focus of the game Kingdom Hearts 358 Days Over 2. It was basically about them doing missions, and a lot of them were kind of like sketchy, but there were a handful of main characters who were actually like kind-hearted people who were just doing their jobs and still questioning stuff. I'd love a series like that. You take two or three Anbu with like special powers or anything, and you kind of just get their perspective because this cannot be an easy job. And some of you might think, oh well, then just see all you would. I would only just want to see the dark stuff and the scary stuff. I'm like, no. In some cases, it could be different. Like you could find a way to balance all the horrible spying, killing, and loot loss of your friends but at the same time kind of focusing because that cannot be good to your body. Look what it almost did to Kakashi.
I could see that. I mean, you said to there doesn't always have to be dark, but I could see them doing a story where telling of how one person joins the Ambu and one of his original teammates from when he was a genin is now a bingo book ninja who fled the village, and literally it's him having to hunt down, and you get the flashback of them as young genin and tuning and stuff and being good friends, and now he's having to hunt him down for stealing secrets from the village or something.
Yeah. And that story could work really well too. I guess my philosophy is just I'd like to think that as time progresses, they're like, this is not really an efficient way of you dealing with our ninja's psyche. So maybe there are times where we could just show them. They don't have to be partying or anything. It could just be a simple like a light conversation, or just like that episode where everybody went over to Naruto's house and they played cards, something like
Mm-hmm.
that. At just moments of them not just being Anbu. That way, the serious moments just feel all the more serious because they're not happening all the time.
I could see it. I think that would be an interesting story to kind of tell, just develop for the how to put it. I guess for the whole idea. Yeah, just I'm just trying to picture of how they would do this psyche stuff. I mean, it'd have to be a longer series, I would imagine, to show the development of the issues and then have a full kind of reason to do that.
Yeah. Heck, you remember Ibiki, right? From the
Mm-hmm.
tuning exams? Honestly, I kind of feel like in some cases he could be instrumental in this because he's very much in the sense of I will torture people to get the information I need. But you listen to the guy and long enough, he's not a malicious person. He's just doing a very tough job, but he's somebody who you might want to get a beer with. I don't know. He kind of scares me still, but you understand what I mean. Like he has a good balance of doing his job yet still living his life.
Yeah, I could see that because are we introduced at some point? I think it's a one of the side stories to his son or something.
I think it's his younger brother.
That's it. Yeah, it's who's like a who's someone who failed the tuning exams. Like he actually got failed because of his brother.
Yeah, like he was the runner in that arc they did right before the Sasuke retrieval arc. That I don't even think I don't even think happened in the manga.
No, it didn't. It was another filler.
Goody.
It wasn't the worst one we've ever had. It's still not the best, but
They brought back the transforming. You understand what I mean though.
Mhm.
Just a good like this would obviously probably have to be a darker series of Naruto, but at the same time, you need some lighthearted moments. Heck, they created two Anbu characters for one of the video games, and their powers are super cool. Maybe throw them back in if they even remember those characters.
Could be interesting. All right, you ready for my next one?
Go for it.
So it's once again another character that happens to be dead at this point. Fugaku Uchiha, Sasuke and Itachi's dad. I
Not the
think this.
Itachi I thought you were gonna say, but okay.
You mean the Uchiha? You thought I would say?
Same difference.
I mean, his nickname from I guess it's the second war or third, one of the Great Shinobi Wars is Wicked Eye Fugaku because he has the Mangekyo Sharingan. And so getting to know like what his actual powers are, and he seems like someone who, while he's the leader of their clan, he doesn't necessarily want to rebel, but he feels obligated to his clan to do this rebellion and all that they're planning. I think it would be really interesting to kind of get his mindset, and you get little bits about like his view on Itachi, his view on Sasuke, and kind of where they sit. And again, I mean, the fact that he literally sat there and let Itachi kill him. Why did he do that? Why? I know he was accepting his fate, but why did he just do that? Why not put up a fight and all that and just different aspects of this character? I think would be really interesting to go into.
I mean, I think in some aspects it could be because in order to stop my son from doing this, I might have to kill him, and it could be a case because and look. Sasuke's parents were not the best parents, but his dad in particular loved Itachi. remember, Sasuke as a kid was upset because all his dad would do was talk about Itachi, Itachi, Itachi.
Mhm.
So maybe in some cases he could have felt betrayed by Itachi, but it's also a case of I'm not going to lay my hand on my son, which normally I don't love that cliche, but in this case, with everything he tells Itachi beforehand, it got to me, admittedly.
Yeah, I mean, but this is also the guy who during the war brought his like 5-year-old son to the battlefront and had him watch as people were killed. So I think that would be another interesting aspect. There's just so much with Fugaku that I'd love to learn about his character that is really kind of buried in this series. They don't really show that, I would say, well in Naruto. I know he's not the main focus, but even the Uchiha flashbacks are like a staple. I mean, it happens like every 20 episodes we get a flashback to Itachi killing everybody or the plan of the coup every 20 episodes. I mean, I'm not joking. Look back at it.
Or Sasuke talking to some dog that he's friends with.
Yeah. So, as I said, I think Fugaku could be a really interesting story to tell.
Yeah, I think that dog might have been Sasuke's actual best friend, but hey, what do I know?
Yeah, possibly. I think that's quite possible, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, see, it proves it. No matter how sadistic or evil you are, if you have a good dog, you're set.
Yeah, unfortunately, that dog had uh, Uchiha blood somehow, and it got killed in the entire massacre as well.
Wow.
That's the real reason that Sasuke turned to the dark side.
I don't think that's at all canon in the slightest, but I'd also like to think that Sasuke runs around with a dog with a Sharingan with it.
He just implanted random eyes in it until it worked.
Just like if it works, it works. If it works, it works. But yeah, I can co-sign. Sasuke's dad. I would want to see more fights though. Not just I would actually want to see this guy fight because it seems like most of the time he's either praising Itachi, being bad to Sasuke, or just like accepting his death. So I'd like to see a couple of really good fights out of it too.
Yeah, that's kind of where I would want his focus because somehow I would want to see how he got the nickname Wicked Eyes Fugaku and all that.
Yeah, but I can co-sign to Sasuke's dad.
All right, your next one.
Okay, without Sasuke, the Taka or the Hebi.
Okay.
I just kind of feel like out these guys never really got anything clear to work with because Sasuke basically said, "You're all coming with me, and you're gonna basically work alongside each other." But I don't really feel like we got that much of a reason, except for Jugo, who was basically, "Well, Kimimaro risked his life for you, so now I'm loyal to you." At the same time, though, we never really get anything in a sense. I don't know. Am I wrong on this or what?
I mean, we got a little bit with Karin, with her being, I think it's the village hidden in the grass is her home village, kind of. But where her and her mom were just used as like medical instruments. They're not even really ninja, even though they were given headbands. It's like, okay, go to the hospital and have everybody bite you.
Yeah. But I guess in a sense, I mean more along the lines of what happens after the war, because they all because Jugo, oh, basically, it makes me so sad because they never really fixed him, and he seems like such a tragic character. Like, maybe they find a way to fully get him to control his powers. Maybe they're all still somewhat friends by the time Boruto comes along, because Karin and Suigetsu still seem to hang out for whatever reason. They fight like cats and dogs, but just in a sense, something like that. Because I always kind of liked these guys, but I've never really felt like they got something to work with.
I can see that. I'm yeah, there's a lot with them because they also go back to working for Orochimaru. I can kind of understand Karin because she seemed to be treated actually better by Orochimaru than the village she was living in. But Soigetsu, I mean, he was literally in a vat of water because that was how Orochimaru was able to contain him, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah, especially since well, kind of in comparison to some of the stuff they do, they didn't seem like awful people per se, but they still did some admittedly bad stuff. So maybe it's a case of them redeeming themselves and like that. Heck, Suigetsu might actually be. It's gonna sound weird, but Suigetsu might actually make like a relatively good teacher to to certain types of people with his more laid back yet somewhat sadistic personality.
Yeah, I think that would actually be a good one to tie into the Sound Village. Like, kind of going back into the Sound Village is the village of, I guess, kind of the rejects who traveled there to escape their own village. So have him go there and pretty much be given the rank of like Jonin. So he's taking on a new team there or something, and like serving as a Jonin in his story of that.
Exactly, especially since I feel like water users are some of the more, I don't want to say overpowered, but they're some of the stronger people out there. So yeah, I think he could show off some really cool stuff.
Yeah, I'll co-sign. And as you said, with I'm just trying to think if I mean Karin's. I think out of again, I haven't seen enough of Boruto, but I think she's gotten the most, I guess, kind of development where she's kind of serving as a medical nin now because she's the one who served as the doctor for Sakura when she was giving birth. So, which is kind of strange because when you think about it, because she should have probably gone. Why didn't she go to like Tsunade or something?
I don't know. I don't know. You tried to hey, you're the one always defending Sakura, so I feel like I should be asked. You should have the answer to these questions, if anything.
I don't know. They were traveling and visiting Orochimaru because he's now Sasuke's dad.
Sure, why not?
There
I
we
don't know.
go.
But anyways, the taco or the hebi or whatever other names they were given, but let's focus on Sasuke.
Yeah, as we've said, Sasuke we like, but he's given a lot more than he probably needs, especially now that his story is kind of over.
Yeah.
All right, so honorable mentions time.
Is it?
I believe so. I've done four.
Yes it is. Sorry, we have a lot of backup, so my list is kind of all over the place.
All right, so this one's kind of a group. I don't know how I would really want it to be done. It's the uh Jinchuriki that we didn't really get their backstory, or even if we got something like who the new Jinchuriki are, because we still the only ones we know about right now are Naruto and Killer B are the only two still that we know exist.
Doesn't Gara still count technically?
No, because what's is that?
Shikaku.
Yeah, okay. Um, is in like there's a whole arc in Boruto I know because I've seen it on YouTube where he's in like a pot and he's like Himawari's taking care of him or something.
Sure, okay.
So he's not there. But like I mean, there's um Murabi and Yukito, I believe is the name. They were killed. Isobu and Yagara, Son Goku and Roshi, and uh Kuoku and Han are kind of those are the ones that we never got any sort of story with at all. All the
Heck,
others we got at least a little bit.
even the ones we did get story with, it still didn't feel like that much. Like I think out of all of them, Fu might be my favorite of the Jinchuriki, and even I kind of feel like she just talked to not Kanzuki, to Kakuzu that one time, and that was basically it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, I guess the main focus was the one, the eight, and the um Nine Tails were the ones that we got at least some background on for the most part. There was, I guess it was Fu. Is Fu the Seven Tails or the Six Tails?
I believe she's the Six Tails. Let me look it up. Go
Yeah,
ahead though.
and then there's the Bubble guy that got like a little arc as well.
Oh, I liked him.
Yeah, so I kind of left them out because we at least got something with them.
Fu is the Seven Tails. My bad.
Okay, so as I said, these are the kind of the ones that it's like, wow, I could. These would be really interesting to get to know them or heck, get to know these these different tailed beasts and their new Jinchuriki if they've partnered with someone or what they've decided to do at this point or because it's like that's something else that's kind of bugged me about Boruto is that they keep coming after it's like oh we need to get the Nine Tails to reopen a new 10 tails to get a new chakra fruit and it seems like that keeps happening and then there's but then there's nothing with the others it's like well did the others get attacked and already have been captured? So it just leaves the three again, which is like, really?
I mean, admittedly, I haven't seen this arc, but at the same time, it sounds frustrating to live with.
Well, I'm thinking like based on the Boruto movie, they're pretty much going there to extract the Nine Tails from Naruto, and then I know that at least one more arc happens where there's at least another set of the whatever the clan Otsutsuki clan, I guess is their name. It's Kaguya's clan that from another planet, another dimension, whatever they're from.
Remember when the show was just about ninjas and it like felt kind of cool?
Yeah, there's kind of a reason I don't care for Boruto. They've gone way too far, I feel.
What I'd like to think it could get worse.
Yeah, I guess it could. You could also have Gara's barber.
Uh I mean, it's not like I was gonna say robots, but I'm like, oh right, Mecha Naruto.
That happened.
That was meant to be funny though.
Was it? Was it really?
I mean, I'd like to hope so.
But as I said, these I think could make either a good story of them beforehand, as with the Jinchurikis we know, or where they are now in the timeline, and kind of either or maybe a mix of both would be an interesting story to tell for these different tailed beasts.
Yeah, I completely agree. Especially, I just thought they were all cool, and then when they died, it felt like we were all supposed to care, but we barely knew any of them, so most of us just didn't care that much.
Yeah, it was more of, oh, are they gonna when are they gonna come after Naruto? Was kind of the feeling you got until they introduced Killer Bee.
And Killer Bee is great, but he's not on my list.
No, I can understand that. We've got a good bit of Killer Bee.
Yeah, but anyways, my first honorable mention:
Go right ahead.
Gengetsu Hozuki.
The
He
name's
he
familiar.
he was the Mizukage who died with the pompadour, and he had no eyebrows.
Okay, okay.
I honestly don't have any story for him. I just want to see what he was like beforehand because he seems like such a goofy guy, especially with the way he talks. At the same time, though, he was a Kage. He was a leader. He was feared by people. Well, as much as I like a lot of the Kage, I also just kind of feel like the personality wise, you could kind of feel like a lot of them are the same. I'd like to see, like, first of all, who the heck killed this guy? And second, just I don't know. He's funny to me, and that's kind of why because like I feel like it could be interesting. Like I said, not a huge story reason, but I just thought he was cool.
I can see it. He's because he was very comedic as well. Because wasn't he having an argument with either another one of the Misukake or something that was
Something
also
like that.
resurrected? It's like
Something like that.
I can see it. I think that would be an interesting one to uh bring up again. I just as you said, they'd have to come up with a good story for him. What his story would be.
Yeah. Yeah, especially since one of his lines in the game is having no eyebrows is a sign of charisma. And I was like, what? What?
Okay.
And he can also summon a giant clam, which at one point I said, I want that power. I want to summon a giant clam that can use genjutsu.
Just as you said, I'm trying to think of a good story
He's
for
an
him.
honorable mention, and not every honorable mention has to be super deep. This is less about wow. This would make a really interesting story with character dynamics. I just think it would be funny for such a silly seeming person to be as charismatic and as good of a leader as he was, because he did seem like a good leader to people.
Yeah, and the fact that his village is literally the Blood Mist village, although I don't know if it's got that reputation yet or not in the series at his point in ruling.
Exactly.
All right, my next order will mention
Go for it.
Toby Rama Senju. I think this one would. We got a lot of Hashirama and Madara, but we pretty much the only time we get to see anything of Tobirama, he jumps into fight in front of his brother, pretty much, or uh, we get his death, where he's but I think it'd be really interesting to see someone who's supposed to be the leader of his village and he's fighting on the front lines and all that with this, and seeing him just kind of get more of his time as the Hokage, because he's, I think, kind of the only one we don't get that much of what they're doing as Hokage.
Nah, yeah, you're right. You're right on that. It does kind of feel like he was kind of the odd man out, despite the fact like he was kind of a jerk.
Yeah, as I said, this one would be, he doesn't necessarily have to be like a full good guy, because that's not who Tobirama is. He's, but getting to know him, and I guess him having respect for like the one Uchiha, but hating the rest of them, because he had that one Uchiha in his personal guard.
You're right.
But I have a feeling like he's pretty much, he created like a whole bunch of different jutsus. Like the entire scroll of sealing is like his own knowledge, pretty much, from my understanding.
Yeah. As much as wouldn't love the idea, I could see again trying to steal it, like Naruto did with the scroll and learn the multi-shadow clone, and we're all just like, oh, now he's learned a new technique rather than, yeah, you stole the script, to jail?
Yeah, I can almost see it being like the village is almost going to fall under like a totalitarian rule under him, but then there's still something that I guess prevents him from going that way fully, and we develop it from there.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't think I like him as much as other people do, but I still, maybe that's just because I love Toby. Maybe that's just because I love Hashirama so much.
As I said, the only reason I put him kind of as an honorable mention is because he's the least developed, I feel, of the Hokage. We get stuff with the first, the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, and the seventh.
And probably the eighth soon enough, if once we get there.
Yeah, when they eventually kill off Naruto, he'll be, I don't know, it'll be Sadara. There we go.
I mean, I was gonna go with my guy, but sure.
No matter how much we want it, unfortunately, I think with his handicapped, he's not the same Mike guy we know and love.
I'm not sure you can confidently say that considering how badass he is, but I can go sign with Tobirama. I keep getting their names mixed up.
Yeah. All right, your next one.
Aoba.
I know the name. I just need to know who you're talking
Okay, this is going to be a hard one to explain. Okay, you watched Shippuden.
Yeah.
You remember that, I guess, Jonin, who would sometimes travel alongside the group, he had the red glasses?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, admittedly, I took a break from Shippuden, and when I jumped back into it and I saw Elba, what are you doing here? It's just like, oh, I just got a report. That's right. He was also the guy who ran in during the Tsunade arc and told Sasuke, and told everybody in the room, "Hey, I just got word that Itachi's back," and that's how Sasuke learned and ran after him, because apparently that happened.
Okay, as I said, I know who you're talking about. He's another one that doesn't he wear like a whole cap version of his headband.
I think so. I don't know. Well, I just never felt like we learned anything about. This is more for me as a kid. I just felt like we never learned anything about this guy. I don't remember him doing that much of anything. So that's. I don't know. Maybe he has some of the most badass powers in the whole show. Oh, and then it turns out, oh no, we don't really need you for this mission. It's okay.
I could see it, and I could see it being this could be like the not no name Jonin, because a lot of them have names, but the ones that got the one-off episodes, like the two Jonin in the Chunin exams in that first part where they use Genjutsu to confuse all the Genin.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, get them a little bit, like do like a whole series of like a handful. Each person gets 2-3 episodes, and you get to know about them, and the fact that like how did they end up on gate duty for like the entire series? Like every time we see them after the tuning exams, they're at the gate guarding or waiting for someone to go by or something.
Yeah, not only that, but he apparently at one point he worked alongside Obito. Oh, he's apparently in terms of intuition, he's like a genius. But I just don't really feel like we get that much.
As I said, yeah, I'll co-sign. I think that could be an interesting idea, getting the Jonin that we're just kind of that have such unique designs, but yet aren't don't get much story time at all. They oh here they're by the way, this person was teamed up with Asuma when they were kids, or here they were teamed up with Kakashi on this one mission or something, and then that's it.
Yeah. The only other thing I remember is that apparently he gets seasick easily, or he helps Guy when he's seasick. See, I only, like I said, these are honorable mentions, and I didn't want to take any answers that might have been on your list. But Aoba Yamashiro, or whatever his name is.
Okay, yeah, as I said, I'll co-sign onto that one. So this one, I think, is kind of an interesting one. We've gotten a lot of his backstory, but I'd like to get the last little bit that which takes place like right before his main story arc. Zabuza Momochi.
Of course.
I know. I'm putting him as an honorable mention because we've talked about him before so much, but the fact that he actually attempted a coup to take over the village hidden in the mist and oust Yagura, who was kind of the one who's perpetuating the Blood Mist village. So I'd like to get to know that story. That's kind of what I want this little story to be focused on, would be him being trying to run this failed coup and being betrayed, and then all of that. And this would also, I guess, be while he's training Haku, and them running off kind of ends it as they're running off to the, I guess, what is it, the village hidden in the waves, the land hidden in the waves, whatever it is.
Yeah, and then they run into Kimimaru, and then they just leave each other at that.
Yeah. So it'd just be like kind of completing his story, because he's one of those villains that we've gotten a lot of it, but I'd like to see the failed coup, I think, is what I would want to see.
So
Again,
yeah, go ahead.
That's kind of it. It's just like focus on that, get to know their story, or his story that leads him to becoming a rogue ninja, but yet he still wears his headband and all that.
Yeah, but yeah, I can co-sign Zabuza. A lot of a lot of different water ninja for us. But yeah, Zabuza works.
All right. So your last honorable mention?
No,
I guess
remember, I
That's
have
right.
my last answer after. I have Shizune.
Okay.
I don't know. I just kind of felt like because she was the niece of Tsunade's lover, and I just always kind of felt like her techniques were kind of understated. So maybe maybe it could even be a comedy arc. It could just be a case of she does something on her own while Tsunade's like passed out drunk or gambling or something like that. And honestly, I just thought in some cases medical ninjutsu is kind of, let me put it this way. I never felt like when it came to medical ninjutsu, she was the one being showcased. It was either Tsunade or Sakura or Ino that one time. So maybe
Mhm.
just a case of maybe she even feels like she's slowing down, but she wants to catch back up. She has that awesome poison fog technique. Heck, when I was a kid, I thought the pig Tauntaun was actually hers, but it was Tsunade's, apparently.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's carries it around all the time, but yeah, she's one of those characters that it felt like she was going to get development when Naruto was, like, the series Naruto was going on, but then you never really get it. So yeah, because does she? I'm trying to remember. Does she have one of the times? Was she spying on Orochimaru, or
I
that's
don't
no? I don't think that
I
is.
don't believe so. No. Heck, she could like it's kind of shown at times she's kind of the glue that holds everything together. Because even when Orochimaru was like, "I'll bring back the people you care about if you heal my arms," she's very much like, "Don't do it, don't do it." She could honestly just be the glue of an arc and have like kind of teach some people just the lessons she's learned throughout life and everything.
It'd actually be kind of cool if because she's serving as the assistant to the Hokage, like have it be a story of them having a five Kage summit, and not it just it take place kind of in that 2 year time skip, and so she's going kind of as Tsunade's assistant, and that would be give her like a time to do like counter espionage between them and the other villages, her trying to discover things but also prevent them from discovering things about the hidden leaf and all that. I think that could be
Exactly.
interesting.
it really makes me sad that in both the video games and the anime and manga, I guess that espionage in Naruto just kind of doesn't seem to matter.
Unless you're Sakamoto, in which case you try to do espionage, you give up on it, and then another mission fails because of it, and a whole bunch of people get killed, and you get to kill yourself.
Still, I'd like to think that that aspect in particular would be awesome in the video game. But yeah, Shizune.
Yeah, as I said, I think I'll co-sign. I think that's one of the more interesting characters brought up. I think would to be cool.
All right.
All right. So you said you also have another honorable mention though that you wanted to bring up.
All right. I thought you were gonna use one of the ones on your list, but I can do my. You might have to look this character up just to be sure, though.
Okay.
Manabu Akado. I take it you don't remember just based on the name.
No.
Manabu Akado. I don't know. He showed up in the tuning exams, and we really didn't see that much of him after that. I don't know. I just think a story of like him being the hero in some aspects could be kind of cool. Well, he had a. I don't even feel like he talked that much in the tuning exams, but in some cases, I think a story about him could be really cool. I don't have a whole lot more, but like I don't know. He seems cool.
Okay. Yeah, I could see him using mustache jutsus with that
Eggs.
mustache.
Yep. He looks like 40 when everybody else was oh,
He's 38.
close. I was dangerously close. But yeah, like I said, that's just more of a joke answer. Or because he doesn't do anything, but I just find that they keep showing him. I'm like, I want this guy to win. I want this guy to win the whole tournament.
It'd be hilarious. It's like, oh, well, the only reason you didn't pass was because the last written and test instructor failed you. So, well, you passed the written test, so now you're a tuning. You've already passed the other parts.
It's just like, wait, you forgot to put your name on this. All right, just put it in. All right, yeah, congratulations, you're a tuning now. His awesome sweater vest. No, like I said, that was a joke answer. I really didn't have it. I had other characters, but like I said, they were backups.
Yeah, I'm just looking through like his Wikipedia or Naruto fandom Wikipedia page, and it's like his name literally means to learn, and Red Gate, which is commonly associated with the entrance gate of a University of Tokyo.
Yeah, and we never really learned why his parents decided to give him that name. Were they professors? Were they smart ninja? But we never learned anything about this guy, and it's upsetting.
I could see, as I said, I think I'll co-sign onto this. I think it would be absolutely hilarious to get this random no-name character who's got such a weird design for the universe. He's just so normally, but for a ninja, it's absolutely like no.
Yeah, yeah. So your next one, your last one. How do you want to do this? What? Go
Yeah,
ahead.
so my last one, it kind of ties into my last honorable mention, but I think I'd want it to be their refounding the Seven Ninja Swordsmen.
Okay.
So we got the Boruto arc where they're kind of reformed by this group of people who want to rebel against and bring back the Blood Mist village at that point. But I think either, I guess, taking place after that is the founding of a new Seven Ninja Swordsmen. They finally have either Jonin or Ambu who are skilled enough to start using the different blades and have their different skills and actually succeed at using them. I think that would be a really cool kind of story to tell. And as I said, I a lot of mine I've noticed are either focused on characters that died really early in the story or before the story really starts, or from other villages.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, I think heck, you could even find a way for people to wait, let me put it this way: I could see them reasonably doing this story nowadays, even if it was in the timeline. I can't talk today. The timeline of Boruto. Heck, you mentioned the Anbu. That could be one of their the bigger missions they have to do. You get the Anbu side of things, you get the swordsman side of things, and then maybe like a giant battle or something like that.
And we also have, I mean, I don't remember his name, but there's like the one member of the Seven Ninja Swordsmen that now exists in Boruto. He's literally the only one. And so it's like, I guess he's kind of would be their new leader. Uh, then he was the first of the new members to join or something. And then getting him trying to become a good leader for them and having to pick who's going to become the new swordsman with him.
Heck, you could tie the samurai village back to that a little bit.
That'd be an interesting one, whether it's a conflict with them or just they're going there to kind of learn to master the sword through them or something.
Exactly. But yeah, I've noticed that we seem to be really big fans of people using swords in Naruto.
Well, it's a skill that's like hardly ever used, and then when it is used, they use these massive like buster swords.
I'm
Like half
telling
of
you,
this.
I'm just telling you, if Hayate, the coughing guy from the tuning exams, if he'd gone to the samurai village to train, he would have been unstoppable.
Well, I mean, heck, if he trained under their kind of village leader, because he apparently was able to keep up with Hanzo of the Salamander.
Oh, those Mifune and Hanzo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was such a random story they added, but I wasn't complaining because I'm like, I love both of these guys. They're both super cool.
Yeah, I debated putting them on my list, but I was like, I just don't know if there's a good enough story that hasn't already kind of been told
Yeah,
for them
but
yet.
but I always like the idea of these guys, especially considering a lot of their weapons are available in Shinobi Striker, but you just get like, oh, this is the weapon, but you get none of the powers that come with it or special abilities or anything that come with it.
That's disappointing. But as I said, it'd also be kind of interesting for them to be pretty much having to go against like their kind of the old view of them at being kind of perpetually part of the Blood Mist Village, and I guess kind of being perpetrators of that notion, because that's kind of what it's hinted at is the seven ninja swordsmen were so strong, but also some of the most violent members of the village.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe like, I could see that. I would actually really like that story.
Yeah, and then them trying to become the like kind of heroes of the village. You want to be the
Yeah,
ones that are looked up to.
they're still terrifying though, no matter what.
Yeah, and of course one of them would have to be. I mean, I know there's the one bad guy from Boruto, but someone in the same clan as what's his name? Not Zabuza, the other guy. I forgot his name now. Itachi's partner in the
Kisame.
yeah, just someone from his clan needs to take it, and so he has that frightening visage of being almost part shark, part human, and yet but have him be like the nicest guy.
I would, so he's basically Gordon from Black Clover.
Exactly.
I would love that. But at the same time, though, you don't, like I said, you don't want to mess with any of these guys because you know, oh, they could kill you without even trying.
Yeah, the only reason I feel someone needs to be that strong is because they need to be that strong to be able to wield that sword specifically.
Yeah, I get that. I get you though.
All right, but so your last one,
Darui.
okay.
Honestly, I kind of feel like Darui got a little bit of spotlight, especially during the war. But he's always somebody who's like, I kind of still want more from this guy. He every now and then he talked about the mark that was etched onto his shoulder and what it meant. But I don't know, maybe a little bit of a story beforehand and after the war of him being Hokage. Especially considering he's kind of like Shikamaru in some cases, in the sense of he kind of doesn't want to do anything. Yet this guy became Hokage.
Yeah, and it's interesting because he's the first one that isn't that doesn't take on like the name A.
Yeah.
Because for I'm guessing it's I don't know if it's passed down to the next one, so I guess he could be Darui A now if he wanted to be, or
Let's just
A
stick with
Darui.
Darui.
But yeah, the fact that he's I mean, yeah, there's really, unfortunately, we get his one big attack in the war, and then that's kind of it. He kind of drops off after that, unfortunately.
Yeah, heck, like to me, it could kind of. I would kind of like it if it showed how he learned his powers, because his powers are awesome. It's like these lightning Black Panthers and
Mhm.
everything. Maybe it's a case of he really, really struggled to get these under control. Oh, and then, like as usual, he keeps his more laid back personality, kind of annoyed personality, but like he's ridiculously strong, and he's one of the cooler characters in Naruto, especially towards the end. Now, the one problem is he can't keep that mustache going into Boruto. That mustache is upsetting.
Yeah, I can understand that. It's like all the other characters get kind of major changes, and unfortunately they go to the bad barber, but I mean, that's literally his only changes. Oh, he now has a mustache, and it's not a good mustache.
The Raikage before him, he's lost half his hair.
I mean, let me share my screen because I pulled him up just to. Oh, you've got it disabled. Never
Hold
mind.
on. I got you. But yeah, like you understand why I say Darui, because like I thought he was cool.
Yeah, and he gets that really good. As I said, he gets that really good moment in uh
The war?
yeah. So I mean, here he is. I think in the war scene,
Yeah,
and here
that's
he
what.
is right in Boruto when he
Go
shows up
go
as
ahead. Please feel free to go ahead and click on it.
yeah. Like I mean, so it's like okay, he looks cool. He's standing there and uh just kind of there, and then here he is. He's just older and now has a mustache, kind of.
Ah, that must. Oh God, I didn't notice it comes down closer to his chin. That is no.
Yeah. But I mean, like at least he still goes to the same good barber that he went to in this picture.
When a black man goes to a barber, he goes for life. Like I was. If something happened there, then that would have been the biggest travesty.
But yeah, it's just like wow. How do I stop this? Let's see.
Gotcha.
Okay, thank you. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
go ahead.
wow. That is sad. That it's like his one change is literally I got a mustache.
Yeah. Heck, with how you'd like to think that in the years he's gotten more powerful. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that. Maybe in some cases he might understand I have to die at some point, so he starts maybe passing it down in some areas. I I'm just saying a group of people using those techniques together would be awesome.
Yeah, I think it would have to be like a whole new generation because the other kind of main I forgot that's the village hidden in the clouds, right?
Yeah.
It the only other two that we see are just don't have the right mindset, I feel like, to learn those jutsus. They're the girl is too aggressive and the guy is I kind of want to say too stupid. The one guy, I can't remember.
No, I
Like
know who you're talking about.
he
Heck,
just
maybe somebody walks in on him at one point and he's making raps to combat Killer Bee and they all just stare at him and Darwin's like, "You didn't see anything. Get out."
I could see it. I think that would be kind of funny to do.
Yeah, but overall, Darwi, I really liked him. He kind of just showed up out of nowhere, but I still love Darwi.
Yeah, I wish he had again, I wish that they had had more of a chance to bring in these characters in Boruto and there still be that animosity and like it would be really cool thinking back on it in the tuning exams if all the villages had come together, but you see maybe so you see the village hidden in the sand and the sound village attacking. Maybe one of the other villages comes to Konoha's aid, and the other two are kind of turn away and just kind of we're not going to get involved in this and choose to leave the village.
Yeah,
And that way we get more, and we feel like these characters are more connected to the rest of the series.
exactly.
Plus, it would be kind of funny to see that, like all the different Kage up on the thing, and then when Orochimaru attacks the Hokage, the other Kage just kind of go away.
Like you're on your own. What? You're just gonna leave me? Yeah. These tuning exams keep getting interrupted. I'm not okay with it.
Yeah, they just need to stop holding them. They attract the wrong sort of attention.
Unless they're in filler arcs, and then we see them like 60 episodes later.
Yep.
Alright,
Or
but is that everybody, though?
yeah, I mean, there's a ton of characters that deserve a chance. Like getting more of Hidan and Kakuzu would have been cool, or any of the other oh god, what are they called? The
Akatsuki?
yeah.
We're both tripping out on names today, I'm noticing. So, I remember at one point we both said that in terms of our friendship, we might be Shino and Kiba. I take that back. I think we're more Hidan and Kakuzu. Because we work well together, but we both kind of seem to hate each other at times.
Yep. I think that's we try to do that on purpose though.
Yeah, but still, I think you're definitely Kakuzu, though.
Sweet, I got 4 hearts, but I'm still gonna end up dead, and you're gonna end up buried in a hole somewhere, still alive.
Oh god, somehow that's worse.
God. I just like how it's that you're buried in a hole, but you're still alive.
Somehow, knowing how my life could turn out, it wouldn't surprise me if that happened one day. Hey, but you seem to be opening up to characters who you feel like represent me, so who knows? Maybe that's another video.
Yeah, we'll eventually get around to that one, I think.
My list is already done. That's the crazy part.
I've got to work on that one still.
Yeah, but should we close out?
Yep.
Alright, so ladies, gentlemen, and others, what Naruto characters do you want to get their own side series? Please. Happy endings, sad endings, characters that you really didn't feel like got what they deserved, or heck, maybe some characters that we completely forgot about. Just anything along those lines.
Yeah, I mean, there were so many that we could have gone over. This list could probably have gone on for hours if we listed every character that we possibly would want a good story from.
Exactly. But yeah, basically that. So we didn't just want to stick with characters who got everything. Like I said, I like to think that there are characters who didn't get that much, and that's the characters I want to get their focus. But maybe you have a different philosophy.
Exactly. I mean, there's still I could see Itachi getting another one. I know he's got a few, but him getting one as well, where it's more of what he's doing as a member of the Akatsuki, where they're working for different villages and stuff.
No, or when he's chasing that chicken.
That would be interesting as well, I guess.
When he's making breakfast for Sasuke. I like that one the most.
It is a sweet little OVA to watch if you ever get a chance to.
Exactly. But let us know what you want. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that other nonsense. And we'll see you next time. This has been Alex.
And Richard.
And you have been listening to the Anime Egotists. Good night. Peace easy.